I want to welcome you back to Dream Chasers Radio with me, your host, YaYa Diamond. Man, I got something for you. Have you been trying to change your life? Are you kind of like down and out, like in the dumps, like feeling like, ugh? Well, we got somebody here that's going to help you get better. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. Oh my gosh, you can get us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Deezer, YouTube. Please subscribe to the YouTube. Breathe, YaYa, breathe. I'm telling you, I'm so excited. I just want to get past this. Hey, you guys, look, I got something for you. So I know this is kind of entourage, but watch this.
There's a reason why you're where you are. There's a reason why you're doing what you're doing. There's a reason why you feel the way you do. You may not know what those reasons are, but it's important that you find out, because if you don't, you'll be trapped in this cycle that you're wanting to break. We all want to be set free by the truth, but before that can happen, we have to identify the lies that holds us hostage. Are you ready?
Oh, yes, that's right. I got her right now. I want to welcome to the show, Denise. Denise, welcome to the show, girlfriend. What's up? Did I say that right? I said that right?
Denise.
But I don't try last names. I am bad with names.
It's okay. Denise is fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
No problem. I am so excited to have you on the show. It is such a pleasure to have someone, that can help other people through their ups and their downs, especially now with COVID. COVID has got people like having cabin fever and all kinds of different emotions coming out, things that they didn't deal with before that they've been working. And now it's like on the forefront. Now they don't have work to mask the, you know what I mean? The pain and the agony that they've been masking all these years. Tell me about yourself, though. Tell me how you knew you were supposed to be a coach.
Oh my goodness. I don't think I knew I was supposed to be a coach. I think I just surrendered to the Most High, and this was the direction that He had been pointing me in my whole life. I really am, one of those hard to learn people. So I had to, like everyone else, learn from it. Learn from experience, mistakes, failures, and really just wanted to have an authentic life where I wasn't just existing. I wanted to just, live instead of robotically existing. And so my own journey has helped me to be able to help others. But first and foremost, working on yourself, and always that, like, it's not a point that you've arrived so you can retire. Every day is a continued work in progress. So as I continue to do that with myself, I'm more inspired to help others along their journey.
That's good. So first, the journey begins with you.
Yes.
Not a lot of people know that. Most people think, she got it all together.
Oh my goodness. As a matter of fact, I think when you find a person that have it all together, you should probably avoid them, because none of us have it all together. Just don't.
No.
We don't have it together. And a lot of times when people present to have it together, it gives a misrepresentation and creates a standard that's unreachable. I will be the first one to tell you, I am so flawed and I have made so many mistakes. And I am so stubborn. And I, even today, as I sit here, still have so many issues. But the one thing that I have that I can share is the awareness, right? Not having an issue is not my goal. My goal is to be aware. So even now, when I am triggered or when someone pisses me off, because I'm not at that stage where I cannot be upset because I'm so zen.
Hold on.
Before the hair goes back.
The hair goes back. Be like, all right.
You know, just when I'm about to pull the hair back, I'm kind of like, right? Turn it down a little. And then I really ask myself, what is this really about, right? Someone else does not have that power or that ability to hit that hard for the reaction to be so aggressive. Right?
Yeah.
So did this just tap on, I'm already having a bad day, or I'm already anxious, or I'm already still carrying some energy from a previous conversation? What is this about? And just that kind of interpersonal dialogue with myself automatically works as a de-escalator. So now I go right to, what's this about, right? Like, why does this bother me so much? I remember one time, a quick little personal story. I was dating this guy, and I remember I woke up one morning and I was, really upset, and he said, I'm sorry I made you cry. And my response was, I don't care enough about you to be this upset, right? This is like so not about you. I didn't know what it was about, but I knew that kind of whatever that was, there was not enough evidence that you gave me of love or of anything else to where I could be wounded that deeply. So in that moment, I realized it had nothing to do with you. Now, sometimes I can work on my articulation because I'm Jamaican. So, we have a tendency to say what we feel.
Yo, don't start. I know my stepfather's Jamaican. Don't be going into the patois, okay? Because it's over.
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I was like, listen, no, it's not about you. Let me have my own therapy moment here, So awareness is so important, and we have tried so hard to be not aware or to avoid the awareness of what really like affects us at the core, what makes us feel uncomfortable, what makes us feel vulnerable. And COVID is like, not today. You're gonna have to kind of deal, So it's one of those things you live and you learn, and every day I'm alive, I'm still learning.
With COVID, it's have you seen any uptick in cases where people are actually, like I said before, the things that they were putting to the side because they could mask it with their jobs and being busy and their kids and all this stuff, but now people are home. Do you see an uptick in talking with people more about things that they probably didn't realize still bothered them?
Absolutely. I would say that's probably one of the issues that's on the forefront when I'm doing life coaching. It's like people wake up and they're just like, what am I doing? What is this all for? What have I been working on? I've been going to this job for X amount of years, but that's not even really what I want to do. It's really forcing them to think. And in society, we have so much, like you mentioned earlier, to keep us busy and distracted and work and everything else. And this is really forcing people to really examine purpose more. I think this is one of the things from career or relationships. It's all kind of tying to purpose. And, in a pandemic, there's nothing good usually that comes out of it. But one of the things that I am seeing is it's forcing people to examine their goal, their authenticity, and really question whose life have I been living? Right. And that's I think one of the big one. Is this my life? Am I being who I wanted to be when I grew up? We always said that as children. When I grew up, I want to be this. How far am I even being from that person, from their dream? So yeah, I've definitely seen an increase with dealing with issues like that.
That's amazing. I think that we all need to deal with who we are, really, truly. You know, when we were kids, we had this vivid imagination of, you know,
Yeah.
I want to be a firefighter, or I want to be a star, or I want to be this.
Yeah.
And then we gave it up and we followed other people's dreams and we became their vehicle by which made them rich and kept us poor. I think during this whole COVID thing, we're actually going back to what really makes us happy. Have you seen that too?
I've definitely seen that. I think one of the things that I find I'm having conversations with people is first the awareness that they're not happy, right? Because we live in a social media society, so you have to just take a picture and post, a few happy pictures, and people really believe that you're living this happy life and things are
Right.
going great. And you can put that presentation on for a long time, but people are really starting to question the authenticity of the projected version of themselves, which I like to call an aversion. They're representative, and they're really kind of putting the representative aside and really wanting to have those conversations again with that inner child, have those conversations again with that, inner narrative that they have to really kind of replace. And I'm definitely seeing an increasing amount of people more willing to examine themselves a little bit more in depth than they would be on a day-to-day when they had all the distractions you mentioned earlier.
Wow. Yeah, distractions are really good because it keeps us ignorant.
Yes.
How they say ignorance is bliss. But when COVID hit, reality hit us all. It hit us in a way where people who were depending on other people to actually pay them really kind of came to a halt almost for some of us. What is your advice for people who really think that they should change their lives, that they should really deal with the things that they didn't deal with before this whole situation and this whole pandemic?
That's interesting that you asked that, because we are so intelligent as human beings that sometimes even when we're trying to change, we're really just tricking ourselves into avoiding dealing with the actual thing that we need to, right? So it's like you quit one job and go to the other and you're still not dealing with, whatever you need to work and develop on. So the first thing I usually like to explore when people start to want or have this desire for change, what is the motivation behind that change? What is the intention for that change? Are you just changing because you want to switch into another pretend life? Or are you wanting to change because you're really trying to have an authentic experience in which you uncover and discover and recover who you are? And a lot of times, even with the desire to change, they get stuck right there because they realize they were really trying to put another busy project together, right? And if you do another busy project, it can give the illusion that change is happening and movement is happening. But if we haven't addressed the underlying core issues, then it really doesn't matter what you're doing. It's like, same issue, just in another group of circumstances.
Right.
So if someone really wants to change, I really question initially, what is the motivation? What is the intention? And why do you want to change?
It isn't important to change according to what, though? According to, like you said, after you get your life together, while you're getting your life together, and why involve a life coach in this specific stage of life where change just might be inevitable?
A lot of times what we do is we use our intelligence to rationalize our behavior. Our friends and our loved ones a lot of times aligns with us because they have some of the same issues, or sometimes they need you to maintain a certain status quo so they're not the one that's the oddball, or they're not the one that's at the bottom of the pole, or like they want to be like minds. So a lot of times, to be honest with you, we don't have anyone that's objectively calling us to the carpet or challenging our own perception. And I think one of the best gifts a life coach will give you, if you find the right one, is really challenge your way of thinking, your way of being, your perspective, and hold you accountable to see if what you're saying actually aligns with what you're doing. Because, for example, I had someone tell me once, I'm a person, I'm very low key. I don't like attention. I like to kind of be, not in the spotlight. But they wore like Batman socks with actual capes off the back of the Batman socks, like actual capes, right? Okay. So there's an incongruence there. Like, I don't like attention, but I'm doing all this stuff to get attention.
Right.
So one, does this person really believe that they don't like attention and they're living a life as a person who does not like attention, which is a completely different person from who they actually are? And has anyone ever not told them necessarily, but maybe present a few questions that would allow them to examine what that is? Because guess what? If you're a showstopper, be a showstopper.
That's
but
it.
Don't, you're right. Be that. Fly away with your Batman socks.
That's right.
But to believe or convince yourself that you're a low key kind of person who's really not into the spotlight, now you're having a incongruent existence. And if that is a sample, of a bigger issue, what other areas of your life are you incongruent with? And then let's just come out of that boat a little bit. How congruent can you be in a relationship when the menage a trois you're in is a relationship between you, yourself, and the person that you think you are? And then you're going to bring that to somebody like, hey, we go together, right?
Oh, okay.
Which one do you go with?
It was nice to know you. Really, it was. You know what?
The other you, whichever version of you that is, right?
Yeah, no, the other person trying to get involved with you. That's who that is right there. It's like, it was so nice to meet you, but I have to go. I am running late.
Look at the time.
A lot of people don't realize.
Your phone is dead. You're like, hello.
Hello. And a lot of people don't realize that they're chasing people off because they're so incongruent.
Absolutely.
And then they complain that they don't have friends or they don't have no one to call. People don't really, talk to them. This is the reason. And so getting your life together is very, very, very important because your relationships suffer. Am I right or wrong?
Oh, you're absolutely right. I think a lot of relationships, like Krishnamurti talks about this concept where people don't actually have relationships with people. Half the time they have relationship with the concept that they have of the other person. So I have a concept of you and you have a concept of me. And we're basically, those concepts are kind of like exchanging information and communication. And I think a challenge, and really it's the age of like, woke, like they say, is really to get close enough to where you can have a relationship with that person, whoever they are, their authentic self. And you can make a decision if you want to deal with those issues. But for someone to suppress, hide, lie, deny, be unaware that those issues exist, and then bring that into a marriage or bring that into a relationship, it's selfish. It's unfair to the other person. It's unfair to you. People end up getting hurt. And so the best gift you can give someone, honestly, is the authentic version of yourself.
Right.
And I think life coaching, counseling, really good, healthy surrounding people can help you with that. You don't have to go to a life coach. I think everyone who is navigating life and really doing the work and not hiding out into, something is in itself a life coach. For me, doing this, I was going the route of being a traditional therapist. And so I have a master's in counseling, which is what a mental health counselor does. But I really found that I wanted to exist in a space where I can operate a little bit more in the real, with a client. And sometimes that means we're not a match,
Right.
Sometimes it means that, because I also have to protect my energy and my space. And, people, energies, you know how that goes. Yes.
We good. We know.
But if you're at a place where you're trying to, kind of identify some patterns, or sometimes I hear people say, I don't know why I keep doing the same thing. Or they're dating a different person, but it's really the same person. as if
Yeah.
the spirit gets left out of the X's and went into the currents, right? And so there are some things that's happening at the core of who you are that predispositions you to make certain choices that you're not aware. And as long as you're not aware of that, then you can't break that cycle. As long as you're not aware of that pattern, because people study you more than you study yourself. You can be with a man and he will know what triggers you more than you admit that that triggers you, right? You'll say, oh, that doesn't bother me. You'll say that, but he'll know, oh, watch me get under her skin, right? Or a woman, let me not, people think I'm male.
Hey, keep it real.
Or a woman, you know. So, like, for example, if a woman knows that you think you don't need validation because you don't like attention, but you do, and she wants to punish you, she'll just ignore you. And then you won't understand why it's hurting you so much, because you're not a person who needs attention, right? Well, I don't get it, but I feel hurt, but I don't get it.
Right.
So, you know, it's life coaching helps all the way around.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. You know, especially now when we're, like you said, you know, there's a lot of different changes going on. A lot of people are going through different ups and downs, and things that we used to hide, we can no longer hide. We can no longer put to the side. We have to deal with these issues. And I want to thank you, Denise, for being on the show. Where can people reach you?
Okay, so you can go to my website. It's www.YaYaMDenise.com, and basically all my social media and contact information is there. That's www.IAmDenise, DENISE, just spelled the plain, regular way.
No special ways of spelling Denise with a C or anything like that?
Not with a Z, not Denise, just DENISE, IAmDenise.com.
And we will have that information in the description box below, and right underneath her, you will always be seeing that. During the entire interview, you've seen it, so you know where to go. You know, Denise, let me ask you a question. There are a lot of people that want to get into being a life coach. They feel that that's their calling. What do you suggest that they do? Should they go to college? Should they take up a psych class? I mean, what do you suggest they do before they actually jump in to helping other people?
I would say two things. The first thing is, if you're trying to become a life coach or a counselor or therapist, and the reason you want to do it is because you want to give advice, then don't do it. Because that has to do with something else. It has to do with you wanting to be on a soapbox, which is an indicator of an issue that you may be having that we may need to deal with. And the second thing I would say is, honestly, work on yourself. When you work on yourself and you really do the work, and you're really doing the work, and you deal with your own shame and your own guilt and your own self-loathing or your own abandonment issues, that is the best education and life lesson you can transform to another human being. And that is regardless of a formal education, because real recognize real, and what this world needs more than another degree is authenticity and shared experiences, that someone says, I understand how you feel because I've been through that, and I'm telling you that when I was going through it, I felt ashamed, I felt embarrassed, I felt like this was it, so I understand how you feel, and this is how you can kind of move forward. So really work on yourself first, consult with your creator, whoever you believe is your creator, and ask for direction if this is the way you should go. Because sometimes we want to be something, and that's not what our purpose is. So work on yourself, consult with your creator, and if you become a therapist or a life coach, let it be about the client and not about you.
Awesome. Denise, thank you so much for being on the show, girlfriend. I had such a wonderful time, and all the questions I had, girl, you answered them on point. You go, girl. I didn't have to pull my hair back.
Thank you so much. You're like, oh my gosh, you're so fun to like talk to. I forgot I was doing the interview like half of the time.
Girlfriend, it's just you and me right here. We just right
us.
here.
And I don't know how many subscribers, like over 100,000. Okay, just us and all of them.
Just us. Denise, Denise, thank you so much. And you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And again, all the information is going to be in the description box below. All you have to do is just go ahead and click on it. It'll take you straight there. And also, if you're watching on Vimeo, right in this corner right here, you'll see the logo right here. Click on that. That'll also take you straight to the page. So that way you don't have to worry about putting it in your browser. I want to thank you guys so very much for tuning in. And don't forget to always, forever, dare to be different. See you later.
I dare to be different. I dare.